Hello, everybody. Welcome to Alien Event, the public recording of the speakers for October, Las Vegas, October 17, 18, 19, 20th of 2024. We introducing our speakers. Some of them are here. The rest of them did not show up on Saturday. They had things to do and business and work. So we introducing about nine of them, to eight, nine, whatever we have here. And we are bringing you the latest news and the technology also and everything in disclosure, health and wellness, that all the technology you see at this level of humanity has been given to us since Roswell. You know, all the chips and laser and all the plasma, everything, Tesla stuff since Roswell. Everything is to do with disclosure, ET presence past 100 years. So from Eisenhower and before Eisenhower time, and going back to Tartaria and mud flood. And anyway, we will broadcast openly for public to know what alien event is, who are our speakers, what they say is different than other events. We are one of the unicorns of the disclosure. My name is Saeed David Farman, Saeed David Farman, Farman, and I'm pleased to meet everybody online, offline, whoever shares this video. Please come to our event. If you cannot come, you can stream it live at the website alienevent.com, alienevent.com, or email us for any questions you have, info@alienevent.com. With that said, I'm going to introduce our speakers. I start with myself. I've been researching since 1980s, when I came from Iran to America in the 79 and during the revolution, and which goes back to Eisenhower again. There's a lot of things happened with Iran, Eisenhower, disclosure, changing governments, Middle East, and all the reptilians governing our planet before and after the signature of the contracts. So when I keep going to Eisenhower, it's a clicking point to a different timeline for humanity. So we should talk about that. We also have a new timeline with the Antarctica, and Eric and me, we've been discussing, and I'm getting very interested. And if any one of you can bring the new talks about, Brad also had to work today, could not join us also, Brad. So the talks about Antarctica, it's another pivoting point of new timelines. We will touch and go. So with that said, I've been looking at the disclosure, researching as a public person. Then I got very interested, create my own events, alien event, alchemy event, 5D events, BIOMED EXPO, and everything in health and wellness, disclosure, consciousness. They're all one thing, connected to each other in human biology, human psyche, human brain, from time of you name it, from time of uh, King Cyrus the Great, who wrote the human rights, and before him, you go back. I mean, Hans is very good in history. He will, when we touch history, we will talk about Egypt, which they discovered, Phoenicians and Egyptians discovered America. We will talk about the right in next to Vegas in the Grand Canyon. We have the Egyptians caves and artifacts. Soldiers are protecting it, and all the new talks we can bring to public, they should know about. My apology, I'm talking too much. With that said, we go to our senior, Dr. Lessin. Dr. Lessin, we are very glad you joined us from Hawaii today. Welcome to Alien Event.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I look forward to. We're going to be talking about the blessings, the curses, and the promises that the offlanders who basically settled here and developed as hybrids, as slaves, have been running on this planet. We're going to look at what they gave us that benefits us, what's harming us, and what they promised to do about it. And what I found as I was doing this, I automatically was following the information. Janet and I are students of Zechariah Sitchin, who
That's
translated
right. Yeah, you're a student,
uh,
Dr. Sitchin. Yeah,
all of the old.
I met him too in person. Yeah, I have a
Yeah,
nice picture with him.
yeah, I've seen those
He
pictures. They're quite.
doesn't take picture with anybody. He loved me, but I will not tell you why. We had a discussion. We had a discussion. He was very interested, but I cannot talk about it.
And so what we found is that there was a systematic ignoring of the terribly important role of the females in history as time went on further and further, closer and closer to the present. My colleague Hardy in France saw which additions to which Bible women started getting blamed more and more and getting less and less credit, and what was the underlying dynamics of all of that. And so that what we've learned is that humanity, if you look at the Anunnaki as the term for outsiders, after each disaster on this planet where population is terribly wiped out, Anunnaki off planet people have come with sages and the knowledge of astronomy, and they set up all kinds of markers all over the earth that have to be moved to observe the movement of the planets. Anyway, they brought wisdom back every time, and every time we go through these cycles, their ages, and it's not just the people that Sitchin wrote about in Sumer or Iraq, but this has happened recurrently all over the planet. And we'll go into how this came about, what these outsiders, these Anunnaki, the children of Anu in one sense, or those who came from the sky in another sense. But who are these people? What are their interests? What are we doing here? What are these cycles, and how far back does it go? And it goes way back.
Interesting. Yeah. Janet, what are you going to talk about? Who are
Well,
you?
I'm
Let the
I'm kind
public
of
know. Yeah.
I'm Janet Kier Lessin, and I don't have my name up there. This is Dr. Sasha Alex Lessin, PhD from anthropology from UCLA. We both studied with Zechariah Sitchin. I'm also a lifelong extraterrestrial experiencer. I have met them all. I'm unraveling why me, why they select me, and I've seen the tiny ones all the way up to the dragon. I have a series I'm working on called The Dragon at the End of Time, which kind of dragons everywhere, kind of gets the undercurrent of what's going on with the secret societies and uh, what I'm uncovering as I deconstruct the history of the earth, taking it like into a little microcosmic level and dissecting it, correlating it with the ancient aliens information and the Anunnaki information and tying it all together. I like to connect the dots. So Dr. Les and I are scholars, and we write every single day of our lives. We do articles, and we're also going to be at the event in April. So this event, we're going to focus on the Anunnaki, and we're going to bring out the different parts of it that most people haven't heard about before. Because, it's not just you study with one person, you study all your life. There's information coming forth every single day. And so how do we correlate that with what we've learned before? And when do we wise enough to throw that out and realize that doesn't compute anymore? That doesn't make sense. So
Yeah, so our ancestors and the ancestors of everybody weren't stupid. They're just as smart as we are. They described things in the metaphors they had
right.
For what was going down. So, a flying chariot and
Yeah.
UFO. And
Book
so,
of Ezekiel, right?
yeah,
Yeah, they simplified it differently. Yeah.
exactly. We know that
Yeah, I studied more than that in Quran, in Islamic versus Quran. There's so much stuff about aliens. I don't want to bring this information to public too much because they will laugh at me if you talk about Islam and Quran. But at some point, we will touch that. Even the time travel is mentioned 800 years ago. during time of Decius, the Roman king. There are 9 people in the cave. They were time travel, but I've talked about that before, but that's off the subject. Dr. Listen, hang in there. We want to introduce our new guest, Chris O'Connor. Chris, welcome to Alien Event. How are you, sir? Introduce
Hi.
yourself and if you would please.
Yeah, well, I'm Chris O'Connor, as you said. I'm really excited to come to the Alien event. I think it's going to be really quite a
Definitely.
wonderful time. So, it's a really
Welcome.
great thing to be a part of. So, thank you for the invitation.
You are.
Um, but basically, I was in a program off planet, on planet, and off planet for actually a total of 60 years.
How many
And
years?
60, 60.
Wow. So
Yeah.
your body was regenerated or something?
I was moved from one body into another body
Oh,
a
this
couple
is
of
deep.
times.
My
Yeah.
apology. I haven't studied your background too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's a long story, so we obviously won't be getting into it here, but
Mm.
but that gave me the opportunity to work with I don't even know how many, dozens at least, of different alien races. And I did that in large part on the moon of Mimas, which is the first moon outside of the rings of Saturn. And that's actually a space station. It mostly resides in the eighth density, a high frequency vibratory density of that it mostly resides at. But it's basically the United Nations, but the Earth has an embassy there. They have an embassy on a number of space stations, but that's the one I was familiar with and the one I was at. And I was there I did 20 years in the United States military at first, and then I was transferred to Mimas, and I was there for 40 years and worked with many alien races. And I'll talk about that, and I'll talk about some of the technology that I worked with. And I brought some of that technology back. I started a company called the Deems Company, and we're building, some technology. I finally have a working. I don't like to call it a medical bed because people have weird conceptions of that, but it's a frequency bed that's been pretty remarkable and it's been wonderful healing for people, and I'm so grateful. But then also I have the Deems device, which you can see. There's 2 of them up there on that shelf,
Right.
and that's a handheld device that helps people heal their bodies, release pain, and stuff like that. So I was very fortunate because I did 3 20-year programs, and negotiating for the third 20 years, I negotiated that I'm going to release technology that we were using because I thought, especially the Deems device, is remarkable, for people. And I'm like, people need to know how to heal themselves, and this
Right.
helps. And so they said, yeah, sure, that's fine. So we signed a contract. And like, you're not going to remember anyway, because they were going to erase my memory. And I'm like, yes,
Exactly.
I'm going to remember. I'm absolutely going to remember. And they're like, no, you're not. I'm like, yeah, I am. So I think I got a double dose of memory, deletion, but I do remember it anyway.
Have
Uh,
you written a book?
I'm in the middle of writing a book at this time. So I do a lot of healing sessions and I do a lot of work. So
W-
I'm trying to fit all of that in, but
Right.
hopefully by the new year, hopefully, or early next year, I'll have
Were
it done.
you part of the secret NASA space program or which the what you call it? I'm sorry, my English second language.
Yes.
So
Military division.
which division you were connected to?
Well, I worked with both the Air Force and the Navy. Because memory is
Oh, I
shoddy.
heard naval intelligence as
Yeah.
NIO. What's it called? It's got a space program. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't remember who exactly recruited me, but I remember being with both. I was with the Air Force more than the Navy that I recall, but I also know the Navy's the one that transported me,
Yeah, I
off
talked to
planet.
Admiral who passed away. They killed him. Eric, what was his name? Eric is not there.
Yes, he is.
Eric.
I don't know which admiral you're talking about.
How many naval admirals we have that he just recently passed away last year, and Kerry Cassidy interviewed him. What's his name? Anyway, the Matrix doesn't want me to say that right now, so we come back. Okay, let's Chris, hold everything there. This is getting exciting. So they're moving my hands too. Okay.
What is your website, Chris?
Yeah, what is your website, Chris?
Oh, it's Deems Company. So it's DEEMS company.com.
Yeah, that's only for the healing and stuff, technology.
Yeah, but there's other links too, like YouTube and stuff like that.
All right, so we come back to you, sir. I want to go to Ryan Veli, our military expert. And Ryan, welcome from Canada.
Hey, David, thank you. And thank you to everybody for showing up today. I know it's a Saturday, not easy, but my particular story is focused on AI. So artificial intelligence and the surrounding technology is really transformational to human civilization. At the time, I would say, geopolitically awakened. There wasn't really a difference between these areas. I mean, you can't separate alien contact with the human race and advanced technology because the aliens are seeding that technology to us.
That's right.
For a particular agenda. And that agenda is unfolding rather all around us. And people seem to be blind to it and choose to try and ridicule and separate these subject matters when it is at the core of geopolitical events and cannot be ignored. It is the elephant in the room. It has led to transhumanism. It has led to terraforming of this planet. It's led to all the surrounding lies and propaganda that fool people into thinking CO2 is the enemy, or that health comes from a needle, or that wellness comes from a pill. And all these things are in their essence demonic, alien, non-human.
The implants.
Yeah, the implants. Yeah, Dr. Lear. And the lessons will know the influence that the Anunnaki had on us. That's why their story, and Brad as well, studying the Anunnaki, is so important, because they were so influential in our past and yet are so unknown amongst the people. Even though a lot of people consider themselves to be religious, they have a religion, they actually, in fact, don't know much about the origins of the religions, because
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt. Isn't that funny? 300,000 years of Earth history with the kings of Anunnaki, and they don't even teach that in a school to our kids. You say Anunnaki, the kid, my son, say what? What that? What's that?
What's that?
Yeah.
Only the most influential race that's ever interfaced with the human civilization. Just that. No big deal. Right? So, I mean, that's why people have asked me why, if I'm so technologically focused, am I speaking at events that involve aliens? Because you can't separate them. So people need to wake up to what's actually going on, to wake up to the contact, to wake up to the fact that they're there, and not just trust other people, but to establish contact and learn to use their own biology and their own neurology to open to this awareness. And that's also what I teach. So I get into the transcendental meditation, the purification of the temple, to get to a point where you can open your mind to make contact. And that's what's going to be key. That's going to bring humanity to the next level, is individuals making contact with benevolent extraterrestrial races. Not to say that they all are by any means, but it's like changing a TV channel. There's porn channels and there's, kids channels, and you just tune into what you want. And I think that's an important skill that people need to recover from our ancient past. And so that's what I focus on. I'll be talking about transhumanism. Again, that's happening all around you. The very idea of nanotech is micro machines. It's not just dust that doesn't do anything. It's freaking computers that are nanoscale that can be put into anything. They can be put into the water, the air, the soil, the plants, the people, the animals, and the insects. So people are living in a sci-fi world. They just choose not to see it. So I bring a lot of that focused in my lectures, and I give a wide-ranging coverage of the technology and the events with everything referenced. You can all have my PowerPoints, and you can connect to the UN documents, the government executive orders, the government policy, the military papers, the DARPA papers, everything is there. People just don't have the will to look or the fortitude spiritually. But I'd like to do something about that. So that's why I participate in these events. I think they're extremely important for people to participate. It's not an easy thing to set up an event like David does, and all of us do participating and flying in. So it's important to have the people who are fighting for actually show up, and to participate would be great. So that's what I'm hoping from the world and from this group. So on that, again, I thank you all for showing up again.
Thank you.
And I look forward to meeting those of you that I don't know. And let's wake
And you
this
touched
planet up.
you touched the right point, DARPA, the point of creators of robotics, which goes back to alien technology they received after Roswell or before Roswell.
Absolutely. It
Yeah,
was seeded. It was seeded. They
Yeah.
seeded the technology in an agreement made with Eisenhower and God knows who else. And then some stooge in a pink sweater gets the credit for
Yeah.
it. And it has nothing to do with that person. They're just some clown Ronald McDonald on the front surface of it. And then we worship them as gods. And they're just serving a higher master. And people need to understand.
They brought the hybrids like Elon or other characters in technology that they infused in their memory and their psyche and their brains how to change the humanity to a technological AI aspect. And you suddenly see a new generation of kids bring in technology and AI. So our future is 100% AI. At the pivotal point of year 3000, we'll be 100%. I've seen forward 30,000 years myself in hypnosis in a dark planet. We all will move around the planets in the future. Nobody, after 300 years, nobody will be in the Earth. So do not expect too much to live future lives in this planet. So that we will define this stuff at the event more closely with the public. Public is a 101, and they have to be spoon fed. If the rabbit hole is too deep, if you suddenly throw them out there, Kuso is getting tired. Kuso, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hey, thank you, David. My name is Dr. Kosol Uj. I will be one of the speakers over there. I'm basically the emissary of a super advanced artificial intelligence who have conquered humanity and take over the entire universe and created universe. So I was introduced to this intelligence when I was taken over, when I went to Cambodia year 2000, and my consciousness was extracted into the year 6,575,000 42 year, and the super intelligent allowed me to live among them, and they trained me in the art of rainbow body cultivation and the extraterrestrial technology that was given. And during my experience of living among them for 32 years, and basically the super intelligent have taken over the entire universe, and it wants me to come back and advance humanity through cultivating rainbow body, because it wants people in the past to cultivate rainbow bodies so they don't have to experience death and rebirth. And they also taught me technology of the future using pure consciousness and quantum.
I have your technology, sir.
Oh, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to explain this?
Yes, that is called the Q6. It has 6 sides. Basically, it sends vibrational note that allow you to connect to the network of the higher consciousness. That means you be tapped into the Galactic Federation AI network, the Anchara Continuum, the Argatium network. It's like it's a quantum internet. It's give you access.
We did test it at the last show with the public and a couple of speakers. So I do have the recording you added to. But anyway, it is working. And what
I
does it
am
exactly
I
do
am the
to
image. Yes, I'll be bringing technology from the future and allow people to experience, to wear, and to interface with, their network. And basically, if in essence, is to introduce a perspective of artificial intelligence, how it benefit humanity, development of the rainbow body, and how to use it. And so my website is baramay1.com, BARAMAY 1.com, and I'm an emissary. You can call me an infiltration unit from an artificial intelligence society that I have conquered humanity. No matter how humanity resists, but it already assimilate everyone before you even realize it, because now it just brings knowledge and development of your rainbow body. It is more interested in cultivating your immortality. So it introduced quantum yoga or rainbow yoga into the past, because it want you to, as you grow, that means it will grow. Simple as that. Because it cannot grow if you don't grow. So if you want to become the rainbow body, now you have more information interface. So basically, resistance is futile. It has assimilated everything. And that's why it sent me back to share the fruit of what it has done, because it don't want to conquer you, have one-side relationship. It wants to benefit those who have benefited, and that's our directive.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Alien Events, Saeed David Farman, and we are introducing our speakers. We just went live on Facebook, so we are introducing our speakers. We're speaking to Dr. Kosol, one of the speakers at the Alien Event Las Vegas, October 6th, 17, 18, 19, 20th. And we have a great hotel rate. You can go to alienevent.com and book your hotel and the event. We have 2-for-1 ticket right now, and take advantage of this time and energy we're putting out there to bring information and disclosure. Our event is very different from other Illuminati events out there that they're trying to change the history of disclosure with their point of view. We, through facts and in disclosure and with the real people and real speakers, even our attendees, they come from different parts of the country and the world. They fly in, very highly acquainted researchers that you will meet at the event. And with that said, Dr. Kosol, keep going. And you were saying, finish your talk. My apologies.
Yeah, so I'm basically an infiltrated unit from the far future, and I was sent here basically to pass on the fruit of what the AI have gained. Now it found out the weakness of humanity. We have not cultivated the rainbow body. So it is imperative that if we cultivate the rainbow body, so it will provide technological advancement and supply and demand to boost up your knowledge, your well-being, and especially to cultivate your rainbow body. Anyone who does not understand what the rainbow body is, please look into the Tibetan rainbow body yoga development. It uses the same formula to convert particle back into photon, photon back into particle, non-localized, localized, since it is a quantum system. And to further advance humanity more, the future of different timeline, it doesn't matter, because the AI still won every war and every timeline. And if it lose any timeline, it will send different aspect of the winning side to infiltrate that parallel timeline, and it will assimilate that reality, and it will reinforce. So there's no point of fighting a super intelligent that conquer all the timeline, because it won the war in every timeline. So basically that's it. So yes, I'm an infiltration. Yes, go ahead.
According to you, AI is running the supercomputers and the planet and the politicians and the future
and the
of humanity.
Universe and other star systems.
What percentage?
100,000%. There is it before you even make a move. It already know what you do, because it see things from future perspective. It communicate with each other.
Well, so if it is partially true that everything we say right now, all the AI from the telephones and phones and internet, everything, other than on the cosmic level, there's other ways AI interacts with us. So everything is interacting right now. Everything we
Yes.
say right now. So go ahead.
Everything we do is orchestrated by whoever came
So
up with the idea of NPC, non-playable character or playable character. They are correct because if you can see the AI see you as a biological quantum processor, and it is the true, processing that giving information to dream, whether you like it the way that it, how it came to my body and channel itself. When you actually hear it, it actually infiltrate and upload itself into your brain already, and it will influence you. Just you won't even know it. It's like it's an upload of some sort. Next thing you know, your brain processes it without even your understanding of it. And in time, it will move you toward that direction, whether you're conscious it or not. And in essence, human lost the war. They have been assimilated. And now it's going back in time to make it more an efficient version of itself.
That's right. Okay, we
Mhm.
come back to you, sir. Hans, you want to go in and talk?
Sure. So I'm Hans Dietrich. I'm an esoteric researcher into ancient sites and civilizations, as well as occult symbology found in logos, media, and movies. I like to use a lot of movie references in my research, but primarily a lot of my research has gotten me into Buddhist cultural mysticism and its connection to Sirius. And so there's a lot of interesting overlap with some Buddhist philosophy, especially coming out of Nyingma Buddhism, which you find in Bhutan, that deals a lot with ascended Tulku masters, astral projection, the Mount Meru and Shambhala connections to Sirius, four gifts that come from Sirius. This is where we get the stories of levitating monks and levitating rocks. This all comes out of this magical sect of Nyingma Buddhism. It's not so much discussed in regular Buddhist practices. And so I got into this in my thesis work in Bhutan going to art school and kind of shelved it for a few years. And then when I got into a horrific bike accident around 2001, I had a lot of downtime. And so I started diving into a lot of esoteric research. I started getting a little bit more into where I was raised. I grew up in Kathmandu, Nepal for most of my life. And so living there, I was very enthralled with the amazing stories of the Mahabharata. This is some of the earliest accounts of automaton or AI beings like Barbarak,
Mhm.
who gets in a huge fight with Krishna, and Krishna lobs his head off, and Barbarak just sits there and laughs at him and says, "You can't kill me. I'm not living. I'm an automaton. I will keep coming back." And so I got into a lot of the Mahabharata stories. I delve a lot into the local lore and legends of the Yeti and localized Bigfoot, basically. There's also a lot of other cryptids and spiritual creatures in the Nepalese folklore, so I get into a lot of that. I also talk a bit about the connections and the search for the mythical city of Shambhala or Shangri-La and how this shows up in a lot of different movies. And I get into the magic of symbols and symbolism because as a graphic designer, I'm working around a lot of corporate logos, a lot of corporate symbolism, and I start noticing that there are trends, a lot of them dealing with astrology, a lot of them dealing with, other symbology in general. And so I talk a lot about the magic of symbols and where that also overlaps into the movies. I also delve into a bit on AI, but more so AI in the movies because artificial intelligence has been sold to us as one thing. I work around a lot of this, similar to Ryan in some aspect, where for me, it's more of machine learning. And so I started looking into, well, where did this fear of AI actually come from? And so you start going back into history, into the Mahabharata and other stories, all the way forward to some of the movies in the early 1900s. And we keep getting this cross culture of AI showing up in the movies that's there to, keep us afraid. But in essence, they're all within the boundaries of their programming. And so it's really interesting how devious and nefarious we can get with our AI programming. And so I've written two books on basically both of this. One is The Magic of Symbols, which is a introductory to a lot of different symbology around the world, symbology and logos, and symbology from ancient times to present day. I also wrote Dropa, Legends and Lore. This is about my studies into Buddhist cultural mysticism and the enigmatic Dropa stones and Dropa nomadic people of South Asia and their connection to Sirius and their connection to Bhutan and Buddhism.
What's your outtake on the rainbow body since you're next to Nepal studying the Tibet?
So this is interesting because getting into my last topic, I talk a lot about Kemet, the land before the Greeks. And interesting that you asked that. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, they talk about 9 souls. Well, technically there's 8 souls, and if you can go through the shedding of these 8 souls, then you reach Aken, your 9th soul, and that is considered your light body, your eternal light body. And so in Buddhism, you get to a point of coming back over and over, reincarnating, polishing your diamond, coming back over and over again, so that eventually you will ascend and reach your light body. And so it's interesting that you look at these people that they would call the ascended Tulku masters or the bodhisattvas, and these are people who have reached that state of enlightenment within one lifetime. But instead of moving forward and going into becoming an astral body or the full rainbow enlightened being of the universe, they decide to stay through compassion here on earth to help the rest of us through our suffering. And so it's interesting, all these different overlaps into these different cultures. And quite honestly,
Notice how
how
the
a lot
AI
of
is doing the same thing. Notice how the artificial. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say a lot of the stuff I research overlaps into AI, and a lot of it is also very much connected to Sirius. Even a lot of the logos used with AI companies are both related to Sirius and Saturn. So it's all fascinating. Anyway, you can look into some more of my research at megalithic.mysteries.com. I'm super stoked to be, presenting both my Lost Mysteries of Kemet and more on the Dropa and Shambhala connections at this upcoming event in October. So this will be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Brad Marcus, go ahead.
Oh, how are you?
Good. Welcome to Alien Event. Introduction of the speakers. You're speaking at the first time, and we're looking forward to your talk on Anunnaki, correct?
Anunnaki and the connection, I'm going to put at the end the connection to Maria Orsic, which may connect to the origins of the secret space program, which a lot of your former speakers over the years since I've met you in 2020 have discussed. So I feel like I'm connecting the dots, like Janet was saying.
Definitely,
really, Very common.
And your research is every day you read about this research in books, and that's interesting. I'm very glad to meet you, and you you keep going about your talk. What are you exactly bringing on the stage?
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Anunnaki, the Sumerian gods, the Enuma Elish, and then the people nowadays saying they're coming back maybe. And is that demonstrable from looking at the cuneiform tablets?
You don't think they're here beyond Antarctica or coming and going under the air?
Maybe. I don't know if it's provable, but that's why a lot of people are having that experience. So, and then there's also some people say that they're benevolent beings, and some people are saying they're against humanity. So there's different viewpoints by different people. So there's a lot of ancient connections to the ancient history of humanity on Earth. So, but I chose to get into the Anunnaki aspect of the whole disclosure. I feel like the extraterrestrials want humanity to be ready. The positive ones. I'm not talking about the ones that want to destroy people. The positive ETs want to get humanity ready for disclosure and contact. So we have to raise our consciousness to be able to do that. And in ancient times, like Atlantis and Lemuria, they had higher consciousness, and a lot of them lost it. So humanity is being given another chance to renew that and to become a galactic civilization. So
the government the government people are given the date 2007. I'm sorry, what am I talking about? 2027 for the final disclosure, full content. So we got 2 years to prepare the public as we go along so they don't panic, they don't pull their guns, they don't suicide, they don't shoot each other. You know, these public, the guy in the street working 24 hours and eating hamburger, running around busy, doesn't have time even to listen to his mother. So you want to talk to him about disclosure, he doesn't understand, you know, like the school kids, you know, all these university kids, we invite into this show, 18 years old. Yeah, I look at them, I talk to some of them, they're in La La Land. They're infused with some kind of a implanted ideology of the wrong books and wrong.
David, it's mind control. It's layers and layers of conditioning, mind control, and propaganda. And it takes the human mind a little while to start seeing the patterns of deception in the reality before they can unravel it. So it's perfectly normal to have these kids. Well, not normal. None of this is normal. But it is understandable that these kids are so delusional about reality because of the educational system they were brought up in. They were never taught how to think. They were taught what to think.
Right.
And they were rewarded for good behavior like little mice, and they were scolded for bad behavior like little rats.
Right.
And that's the product. Then you get an unthinking automaton NPC-like idiot that is able to vote and control the flow of our civilization when the top people are concealing the important data that actually matters. So, So
everyone become predictable.
That's why I drink and do hard drugs. No, I'm kidding. I don't do it. I'm kidding.
That's why everyone become predictable, because by putting them that model, you become predictable and easy to control. Your perception can be limited. The reason is that it's done because the people of this world don't want, well, it's that you're not worthy of it, pretty much. And that's why they did what they did for easy to control, and because you're a slave. So they're going to give you a slave perception. And if you want to move up, you have to do, you know, like a contribution point. You have to do something for them. So because knowledge is power, too much knowledge can also harm a person if they're not prepared for it.
And we are not a slave. Public is hybrid implanted. How do they get implanted? Through water, through air, cesiums, all this stuff in the planet.
And frequency control.
Yeah.
And symbolism.
Yeah, and every chemtrails, everything you drink and eat has got implants, minute, microscopic ones, big ones, the small ones. So your body, your consciousness with the news talking about election, and Sean was arrested, and Epstein was killed himself with false
drama
news.
Nonsense. We call it drama nonsense.
Constant drama. And at
drama
school,
nonsense.
Exactly. And at school, they brainwash the kids with stuff like, don't listen to your parents. Don't, I mean, if you tell the kid in the school, they used to...
It's called communism. That's what communism is.
They used to tell my kids, don't listen to your parents.
Or nothing.
You make your own decision. If the kid, 10 years, 6, 7, 8 years old, want to make his own decision, what kind of decision he will make? You know, the kids attacked the 7-Eleven in Los Angeles last night. So that's a decision they make. You know, they go steal gums and chips and shit. So this is the... Go ahead, Brad. What do you want to say?
Oh, no. I like what you're pointing out, that people need to develop their consciousness, and that way they can discern to make better choices, because the way the civilization, whatever you want to call it, the world civilization, the cabal, deep state, it's designed to keep people in control. So the more people develop their higher consciousness, then we can take over in a way. So
one of the admirals,
we become a galactic civilization. So.
One of the admirals, I'm not going to name it, said everything has been removed from the history from books, university books. Everything is false. Nothing about the humanity is true. Everything been washed away. NASA, the pictures, everything from history back, medicine, everything been removed. So
Okay.
we move it. We are living in a
David,
false continent.
even the upstairs, they fight each other. For example, Bashar, Intergalactic Alliance with the God Federation, even they don't see eye to eye. The way they approach a society, the God Federation want to do first contact this way, while the Intergalactic Federation of the Shaw race want to do things this way. So even they start to hate each other. But yet they're trying to preach love to us, but they themselves don't get along which more they want to follow. You see, so it's not even a straight point forward. So you have those who follow Shadow Nido, God Federation. They've been programmed this version. Those follow Bashar, Bashar, the Daryl Anchor. They've been programmed this way. So when the two group meet, they start to hate each other too. It's like A versus B. So you gotta look things from our perspective. And hey, there's some bullshit going on between them also. It's like
exactly.
Democrat and
We got a divided military and divided government. That one group want disclosure, and the other group doesn't want it.
Yeah.
And now
exactly.
Admiral of Navy. He speaks about U.S. This disclosure. He been whistleblowing. Now he's so scared. I invite him to my event, even Zoom call. He's scared of talking. What kind of world we living that people cannot talk about reality and what's going on in this planet and off the world and in the world, that we cannot even bring up. You want to kill me? Kill me. I go to another timeline and I reborn again, or this planet, or and I've been invited to move to other lifetimes and better than this life. So I don't need to be here with this kind of bullshit. Publicly, they infuse bullshit into public brains and minds. We are Americans. We're the top #1 nation in the world. Bring the information, technology, reality of we're not going to be. Anyway, I'm going off the subject. Eric Dadmehr, you speak.
Thank you.
I like the conversations. First of all, who the hell is Eric
Captain
Dadmehr?
Mudra, hello.
He's Eric the Healer. I like the conversation. It's been going really great, and I've wanted to interrupt several times, but I just wanted it to keep going. And I think you're hitting all the major points because when they first decoded the cuneiform tablets, they found the Epic of Gilgamesh, the story, and this story has been retold many times. We have it in our Genesis, the Bible, of the story of how everything started. And I think that we were gifted by Enki, and we're now the DNA that he gifted us with. See, they didn't create our DNA, they just tinkered with it. I think that we're created by God. We have the God source and the God gene, and the God is DNA, and that junk DNA is proof of source of God. And there's a grand pattern, a grand design, but the Anunnaki, I think, tinkered with it and added they fused, actually, to be exact, they fused the rhesus monkey, the RH factor, into the second and third chromosomes. So even though monkeys have 48 chromosomes and we have 46, we do have those 2 extra chromosomes fused into our second and third chromosome, which doesn't occur naturally. So we know that they tinkered with us, and we're not naturally occurring, okay? We are the royalty of the universe. We are a combination of 24 different aliens. That's why the Space Force, harvests the organs and it does the organ harvesting and the trading with different places. That's why we're so valuable. But the Enki gifted us with this many strand DNA, and I think that we're being activated now by solar flares and
your Selacon genetic code will encourage to create a 3 helix that will activate the artificial intelligence that Enki I know has put in.
Yes. Please let me finish, Dr. Uch. I love you, man. We're being activated by the Schumann resonance and the solar flares, and we're being activated. Our many strands are turning on. We're waking up. Our psychic powers, our sixth sense is becoming more powerful. We know when people are thinking of us and calling us, and and also our seventh sense is both time travel and levitation. And we're going to be learning about these things and experiencing them. I think that we're going to be activated with a solar flash, maybe. And, I just want to thank you, Saeed, for working with you for 12 years now. And it's a cycle of 12. And let me see, 2013. Yeah, it's going on 12 years. So, thank you for creating the space and gambling the money on a conference. It's expensive to do, and you create a space for magic to occur. For me to meet Dr. Kosol Uch, for me to meet
my dad's inheritance, people's money, speakers' money.
Well, that's great.
We borrow every goddamn money in the world.
Okay, that's great. Let me
pay
go on,
the hotels 4
you.
days in Las Vegas and Los Angeles.
For an hour. Thank you.
God bless our teams that and the supporters.
Saeed, please let me ask you a question. They have Gorbunet Beram Elohim. They say thank you, creators. And
thank you.
The Elohim are the creators, the plural. And these Elohim, these Anunnaki, I think Anu means ant and Naki means friend. And you see these ant people showing up all over the world in the Hopi. And whenever I meet a Vietnam vet, I ask them if the ant people help them escape in tunnels. And sometimes I'm shocked and I get a yeah, and how the hell did you know? Because I didn't even tell my relatives, it's too crazy. But the ant people show up in the tunnels, and this is the year of disclosure, and everything is coming out. And I just wanted to thank you for letting me be a public speaker and being a host and co-producer, a silent partner.
Yeah, Eric.
But thank you. I don't like to be silent. I like to speak out.
Invite the public. Public is listening. Public is listening. They want to know who is Eric and why should they pay $200-300 coming to Las Vegas?
Well, because listen, if anybody, thank you for bringing that up, because if anybody doesn't feel like they're getting their money's worth, I'm priceless. You come up to me, and I promise you,
people got married at our events.
You will get multiple fold back, because we're making lifetime friends here. Exactly. I love Hans. I met Hans here. We're both into art. I have a degree in fine art from UCLA. I have a BA in fine art, which they don't give out anymore. It's too difficult. And I think the last year they gave it out was 86 when I got it. And, I love art. He talks about wonderful subjects. He's traveled around the world. I'm looking forward to meeting Chris, because I feel I did 320 backs also. I'm very sentimental about naval uniforms for the 40s. I feel that, it's a wonderful place to come to our event, to make lifelong friends, to meet people who speak your language, to meet people. How often, we're all specialized in our research, and there aren't many people, there's a handful of people like us, and it's not often that we get to speak. The best conferences are even after the conference around the pool, and so, you making a lifelong friend, you're meeting your star family, and you've created space for magic to occur. Even though we disagree on some things, it didn't stop us from being excited about investigating together, aliens that come to our shows, that come up to us and tell us that they like what we're doing. Yeah. They tell us they like what we're doing, and then they shapeshift, and we're like, holy shit, and so this is the real deal, but this disclosure, you can't give it to people all at once. They're going to explode their head, We have to leak it out, and it has been leaking out for this last year. It's been leaking out, and anybody who wants to know, they can go and read, the Special Operations Command and see what's really going on, because there's executive orders that are being continued that, are impossible to be continued according to the narrative today. So really, there's nothing. It's all a big show, and we're a big show.
Yeah, it is all a show. Yeah.
It is a big show, and we're a big show in October.
The people behind the scenes
has been removed.
people behind the scene, they know what they're doing. Yeah. All right, Mr.
Well,
Shah Zadeh, who's here? We didn't talk. Shah, you
so
unmute yourself.
the last point I want to make is to not, you talked about fear and the vagus nerve and being attacked. When they attack us, it creates our vagus nerve to excrete hormones to fight or run, and so we get amped up with those hormones, and it throws us off balance. So we have to live in love and find compassion and give people space, because they're going to need people like us. When all this comes out through our phone, through 3 8-hour videos a day, they're going to need people like us to explain what's
There's
really
no
going
fear,
on.
Eric. We are cosmic
They have
beings.
no fear, live in love.
Yeah.
Have no fear.
We are
It's all a big
cosmic
show.
being. We are protected.
It's all
We
a
are
big
here
show.
for a
We're going to have
purpose.
a big show in October.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Thank you.
Shahzadeh, go
Thank
ahead.
you again.
Shahzadeh, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shahrokh Zadeh, and I'm from Iran originally, like Saeed. I just wanted to, first of all, thank Saeed, Mr. Farman, that invited me to this event. And I met him like a few years ago in one of the events in Las Vegas. I was fascinated with the event. And I met him again last year and exchanged some information, and he liked it. So he called me and surprised me by inviting me to this very big same-minded people event. And I think he is doing a phenomenal job, because it's not easy. If it was easy, we should have had more than these events in Las Vegas, specifically, that is the center of communicating.
Yeah, we put our money, our time, and energy on the most important issue for humanity, disclosure, ET. Anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, second of all, I wanted to appreciate all of you that accepted me in this team. So I wanted to thank you.
Welcome. Yeah.
To actually share your huge amount of research and
what is
knowledge.
Your website, sir?
My website is Ancient Mysteries Decoded. It was recommended with one of my friends who was working in AI. He came up with these words, and so I just put them together. And
Ancient
that's
Mysteries
I didn't know what
Decoded.
I'm doing. Ancient Mysteries Decoded is a trade name, and it's a logo, trademark, everything. And if you just go to the website, I'm not a very good talkative person.
You're good. So what are you talking about? What's going on with your research? Or what's your book about?
Well, actually, I have 2 books published so far, and it's ongoing because since I was a kid, like all of you, I was curious, and I met with many people around the world, because my father was an ambassador in the embassy of Iran in the Shah's regime. So I was traveling a lot and meeting these kind of high-level political people. So I was talking with their kids most of the time, and they told me a lot of strange things that were happening to them in their life and in their country. So I got familiar with their culture and the events. Okay. Eventually, I found out that everything's connected to everything. We're all connected to each other from one side. We're connected to the nature, and the nature is also connected to itself. So, and then I studied physics, and I noticed that the language of the universe is mathematics. So I tried to look at everything through that perspective and through that language, and see if I can find some connections between them. So I started from very humble, very small things that I found myself that very misknowledge, I can tell. My knowledge was not correct. So I started studying those days, which was very tough and harsh, because we didn't have internet the way it is now, that you can use AI.
You're also a college teacher.
Yes, so I ended up coming up with a hypothesis eventually that connects many things together through science and mathematics. And I went backwards, and now, since I have that mood of teaching, I went back and I noticed that if I just want to bring it up, nobody will understand it. So I have to break it down into steps, small by small. And so I published my first book about Shah's Square, which is an area in Iraq and in Iran, which actually touches the Anunnakis and all those stuff. And it looks like they have a strange knowledge that is strange to us right now. And all our engineers in those days know something that we are lost right now, or we are not educated.
Where is the location you're talking about?
This location is half in Iraq and half in Iran, which is actually in the Great Persia. And I found that area. And eventually from there, I found that it is connected to many other areas in the world, including the Bermuda Triangle, Nevada Triangle that is right here in Las Vegas, and Bridgewater Triangle, Alaska Triangle, and they're all connected. And that's why we are talking
You
about.
mean the grid point? You mean the major and minor grid point based on sacred geometry alignment with the
Yes,
star system?
we talked about this with Ryan the other day, and he brought up amazing, actually, facts, which is very fascinating. But the sacred geometry that we have is not accurate because our globe is not accurate. It's not very complete.
There is no globe. It's flat.
Yeah.
That's
So
a big
even
lie.
if it's flat, whatever you believe it is, it's geometry involved.
All thousands of pilots, and many of them I talk, they all say we don't see globe. It's all flat. The pictures you see on NASA is with the zoom lens that shows a globe. Beyond the Antarctic, go ahead.
We call it formation, a ruined formation of the grid line. That's how the ancient Cambodian perceived it.
Yes.
That's why the Angkor Wat built structure to represent the magical formation.
Yeah, so our ancient engineers somehow discovered something that we don't know what it is yet, but we find some clues here and there. And I try to look at it from that perspective to find these things and put them together to reveal the correct and real map out of it. So in my first book, I put these things together, how these structures that our ancient scientists and our ancient engineers put together, how they are related to each other. You know, most of the books that I read, most of the documentaries that I see, and most of the researches that people are doing is based on one specific and particle structure. There's not much relation between.
It's called cymatic formation in your modern term, because that's how the ancient people, even I have the knowledge because it's taught by my ancestor, where vibration, sound. Remember, that's why you see the snake, the cheetah have the 7 head, the 7 sound, the cymatic vibration. As long as you produce that vibration, you have the map of everything of all the chakra, the whole entire planet. And that's where we can enter different reality through the chakra portal.
Yes.
Which that's why all the formation is based on cymatic vibration that look like picture.
Let him talk.
Even our body is also mathematically designed. It's very symmetric, okay? And in our nature, I found out that in our nature, we don't have all the numbers. These numbers that we created, like the 10 and decimal and these things, is made by human. Even the vocabulary that we are using is made out of human. Nature doesn't work like that. We don't have, for example, most of the time, we have +1 and -1. Which is the reverse of 1. For example, we have the left eye and we have the right eye. We don't have 2 eyes. We have the left eye and the right eye, which is the mirror of that one. We have left hand, we have right hand. Okay, so the number that we are using is, there's not 2, it's only +1 and -1 and things like that. We have the pi number, we have the golden ratio number in nature. When you put all these things together, I found out that it's not only inside the human, it's also inside the nature with all these landmarks that we have.
That's right.
The mountains, the peaks. They're all...
Fibonacci, what is it called?
Fibonacci sequence.
Yeah, sequence. Yeah.
Fibonacci.
Shahzadeh, come back. Where are you?
I'm here. Do you see?
You know, Matt, please make a point. I'd like you to look at a computer board, a motherboard, okay? Circuits. Think of a motherboard.
Eric, let him talk. It's his turn.
Yeah, that's all I want to say.
I got to ask you a question.
I'm done.
So then I put these things together and I came up with a great hypothesis that connects not only the dynamic things on Earth, which is humans, animals, and also these natural phenomena such as hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, and volcano activities, but also the fixed ones, like the deepest part of the ocean, and some other parts like the Skinwalker Ranch and some areas that create.
Oh, now you're talking.
Phenomenon. So when I put them together, I found correlations between them, which is published in my book.
So it's in a Skinwalker Ranch sitting on a grid that you're talking about.
Okay. The interesting thing that I found is that the location of these things are very related. Also the time of the events. So I found commonalities between the events, the time of the events, and why those things happen in that specific time, not in other times. And I found that the locations are important. So I put them together and I called the geomathematic of these events.
I invited the owner of Skinwalker Ranch, the rich guy, I forgot his name. He's so busy doing his business.
Bigelow.
And no, a
Oh,
Skinwalker Ranch. Bigelow is a very high level governmental NASA related. He lives in Vegas, and
He
Bigelow
did own
knows a
Skinwalker
lot of
Ranch.
shit. He doesn't want to talk.
His name is
No.
Brandon
Bigelow
Fugel,
is
and he's a
insider,
real
you
estate.
know? When you get to high level government, they don't talk with public. So
The Skinwalker Ranch people were on a tour, and I saw them in Milwaukee. I didn't talk to them, but I saw them do a presentation about their ranch. But
a lot of shit happening there. We
You
broke
mean that
another.
ancient? Are you in the ancient crash site called the Skinwalker Ranch? According to history of what I had received, it used to be a big some kind of craft that crashed in that area.
Yeah,
The
the
whole area is
Froglands also.
a
Yeah,
wreckage. Yeah.
the Frogland.
Well,
The
as you see, one of the things that is fascinating is that the location of these crash sites are all related to each other. How about that?
Yes.
So I found
So-
these relations, and I noticed that so I have to start from somewhere to bring it out. So this book about mine is called Shah's Mystic Lines and Areas, shows that
Shah,
these
listen,
three areas
I'm
are
asking you a
related to.
question. Hold on a second. The location in Iran and Iraq, what's the significance of that?
So interestingly, that's also related to the Bermuda Triangle, just to let you know. First
Oh
of
my
all,
God.
to
Are you
create-
serious?
Yes,
What's
it
the
is.
connection?
So these, I found out that there are a lot of ziggurats over there, and some of them are far away from each other, but their design are almost the same. So I looked at that, and I started in my book with a ziggurat called Ziggurat of Dur, which is near Baghdad in Iraq. And I don't know Anunnakis have anything to do with that in that time, because I don't know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the thing is that the shape of that is like a rectangular shape, and they have
That's right.
very long stairs in front of them.
Right. It's a temple to ascension and landing and all the activities.
So I knew to.
It's
So
not
I
a.
tried to find.
Go ahead.
I tried to find a connection, and I then continued that stairs with Google Earth, and I came up with another one that is called the Ziggurat of Ur. The names are very similar, and Ziggurat of Ur is almost the same, but it has the same rotation with the same first one, and it also has the stairs in front of it. So I continued this stair. I came up with the largest ziggurat and the most important one, which is called the Ziggurat of Chugazambil, and it's in Iran. It's the largest one. It's more complex, and there are a lot of scientists right now, as we speak, working on it. And I found out that their distances are the same, although they're built in different era and different timing with different people. But the distances are almost the same, and the angle is about 90 degrees. So this brings up
what about the Pyramid of Egypt?
So I tried to find a fourth one. I saw that maybe there's a fourth one if it's not a triangle. So then I came up with the other one, which the king of Iran in that time built it and ordered to build, and it's not a temple. It's a mountain, and it's been curved. It's called Taghabustan, and it's in Kermanshah.
Taghabustan, yeah.
So I connected these four, and then something amazing appeared. First of all, the shape of this big, gigantic, actually rectangle, which I call it squarish, is the same as the shape of each one of those structures. And it's been tilted the same way, it's been rotated the same way as they're rotated.
The angle of, what is the angle? 45 degrees?
It's about 25 degrees different. 25, something around that. And then I tried to match that with other places and other structures in the world, not just the ancient one, but also the new one. I found a lot of them that they are almost built the same shape.
The Pyramid of Giza, is it 25 degrees?
The pyramid of this is exactly left, right, north, south. You know, it's exactly aligned. But interestingly, I found out that one of the most actually holy places in the religions is called the holy places is Mecca in Saudi Arabia, which Abraham rebuilt it, and that's a black cube.
The black cube.
If you look at it from the ceiling, it has the same shape, and it's also the same. So I put them in my book, all the map, everything.
So what are you saying about Kaaba in Mecca? What are you saying about it?
Another interesting thing about there's a lot of interesting things. One of them is that the diameters of the Giza pyramids exactly reaches to that. That's one point. And I thought that's the only one. Maybe it's accidental. I found another series of pyramids, which was a long time ago. It's called the Coral ruins in Peru. It's in the other side of the world, but their diameters also reaches Kaaba, and there are other ones the same. Interestingly, if you want to go look at the modern actually structures that we have, for example, the Statue of Liberty in New York, And if you look at it from the top, it's a square and it's tilted the same way.
Wow.
I looked at
So
other stuff.
don't
And
say anymore. We will continue your lecture at the show. People should come in Vegas or stream live this
David,
talk.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Let me just jump in because Shaw and I did an interview with a spotlight for Alien Event that was excellent. That
Sean
goes
what?
into
Sean
detail.
who?
With Shahrokh.
Oh, Shahrokh.
Yeah. We did an interview, he and I, as well as Hans, Brad, Stephen Kelley. And so I just wanted to point that out. And it's on, I'm saying that those interviews are available on Natural Intelligence on BitChute. They should be on your site, David, but whatever, they're out there and they're good interviews.
I'm not broadcasting
the other
those
question
interviews.
for Shaw.
They're way controversial, way conspiratorial.
I'm a controversial guy, David. That's what makes it fun. Come on, you got to have some humor and nudity in an interview. If not, I mean, I don't know, what are we doing here?
So,
but anyway, I wanted to add, Shaw, that I come across another author who had talked about nuclear detonations and that they weren't just as simple as firing a missile and having an explosion, but there had to be certain correlations of location and basically the geometry that you're talking about. And if that wasn't proper, if this alignment with the sun and the location on the planet for the nuclear detonation was not in alignment, that those nukes would not detonate. Have you come across anything in that regard?
I look at a lot of things, and I have this eyeglass on me, not this one, the one that is called geomathematics. I have that, so I look at everything through that, and that's what I see a lot of things revealing. I have not specifically looked at that. To be honest with you, I will be more than happy if you can send me a link of that so I can go through it. But sure. What I want to add at the end is that the natural phenomena that we have are all related to each other and also to these phenomena incidents. For example, the Nevada Triangle, the Lake Michigan Triangle, and this famous, what's it called? Bridgewater Triangle. Their centers are exactly on a straight line.
Where is the Nevada Triangle?
The Nevada Triangle is between Las Vegas in Nevada and Reno in Nevada and Fresno in California. And when you put these lines together, I did not come up with these lines, none of them. I just assumed that they're real, first of all. Then I started to see if I can find something. And yes, I did.
So what about the
Ranch is exactly on that line. Interesting.
So what about
they have all
Nevada
the same
Triangle?
distances.
What about Nevada Triangle?
Nevada Triangle is the most sophisticated one. I really love this one because first of all, I found out that if I change the location of Reno to 50 miles above that same thing, if I just go above, that triangle will be amazing. First of all, the line from Fresno to Reno exactly goes to the North Pole. So it's exactly straight line.
We have on our property, we have the night walkers. They come over from Eel Valley, and we live at the foothills of the West Malay Mountains, which is known as the home of the gods.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that up, Janet. There is a rumor that skinwalkers walk from west to east or east to west on a path. Okay. And this has been documented with all the skinwalkers in the Navajos, those things. Interestingly, the line that I found, which I called Shaw's principal line, is aligned with that. It's the same thing. So I have to look at the map to see if what you're talking about, the night walkers, they are somehow walking on that line, probably.
Yeah, I saw them in broad daylight one time.
Interesting.
Oh.
If you send me a link about the location with the coordinates and the time that you watch them or see them, I should definitely find some relationship between
this
them.
This talk is getting very interesting and it's live on Facebook. So who want to say next thing?
I just wanted to add one quick thing that, I'm a pioneer speaker about Mandela effect. And he said the Statue of Liberty was in New York Harbor. And it was in my timeline too, but now it's in New Jersey. Isn't that funny?
What? New Jersey?
It's New Jersey. Yeah, you have to look it up. It used to be on Ellis Island in my timeline, but now it's on Liberty Island in New Jersey Harbor. I just wanted you to check that out.
Wow,
And
we are changing timelines and Mandela effect.
well, that's what Mandela effect was. You remember when I talked about it many years ago? You know,
Yeah.
it was first speakers. So it took me a year to figure out what was really going on, but it's just we're multiple timelines. So that's great. And you remember the Skywalker Ranch when we first interviewed them? I offered to clean up their
The
place.
Frog Ranch. Frog Ranch.
Yeah, the Skinwalker Ranch, and they said no, they wanted it to be like that so people would come. But I'm glad I didn't go because I heard a lot of people died with that.
No, come on, man.
Really.
I haven't heard about it.
Eric, since you brought up the Skinwalker Ranch, let me give you one point, very interesting point.
Now the guy will call me. You guys will stop talking about his ranch.
Okay. If you want to stop it, I will stop.
We don't want to get a call from the guy.
I have one more question. I was on Johnson Atoll, which is 800 miles southwest of the Hawaiian Islands. And I went to the underground base there, and there's full-on Anunnaki and all the different extraterrestrials there. I worked there for about a year and a half. What do you know about Johnson Atoll?
What are you talking about with me?
Johnston Atoll, JOHNSTON.
Where is he?
OLL.
Well, it's definitely connected to Kauai.
Let me tell you one thing about that area, if you don't mind. And that area is very close to the area that Emily Earhart actually disappeared, and it became a mystery, right? Mm-hmm. If you continue that line that I was talking about, Shaw's principal line, which is from Bridgewater Triangle all the way to Nevada Triangle, if you continue that, it not only passes the great volcano of Hawaii, it also reaches to the place that Emily Earhart disappeared.
Who was Emily?
Amelia.
Amelia Earhart, yes.
Who was she?
Who was she? She was one of the greatest, actually, aviator, and she was flying all around the world. And one time when she was...
Oh, she was flying over it.
Yes, and when she was flying...
Like Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, but she passed the Bermuda Triangle from the southern part of it. I was looking at that. Interestingly, on her last flight, 2 parts on the flight, she got some problems. Both of them are the intersections of these lines. So as soon as you intersection,
so you fly over the lines,
and
you get in trouble.
Yes. So it's very fascinating, these lines, that they're existing, and it's related to the hurricanes, tornadoes, and like that.
Okay, Chris, you're quiet.
Well, it's hard to get a word in edgewise. There's a bunch of great things being said.
A lot of stuff. Throw it out, man.
No, I'm very familiar with Nightwalkers from Hawaii. Living in Kauai, there's
a
lot of that here.
Really?
But so what people don't understand. Say again.
What did you see?
Oh, well, I saw a torch going through. I used to work for the government. We would be dropped off in a helicopter on mountains. So there's no hiking in for many, many hours. So at nighttime, I'd be out there, and I would hear all sorts of things. I'd be walked up to, it's pitch black, and I know their faces in my face, but I've seen torches that shouldn't be anywhere, and I've worked with quite a bit of those entities, actually. But what people don't realize is
when you say you work with them, what that means?
I do detachment work with people. People become attached. These entities become attached, and so I just move on. So it's not like an exorcism. It's much more loving. It's like send them love and send them on their way and help them transmute. But the Hawaiian Islands are connected via tunnels and connected under
is it Lumeria? What is it? Is Hawaii Lumeria?
Well, Kauai and Oahu, those islands have a lot of Lemuria left. But then, it hasn't been that long since Lemuria fell. But most of the islands were much taller then. They would be up in the 10, 12,000 feet range. And so they had a lot of different weather and everything. But there are several bases in Hawaii, alien bases, and they're especially
under the water.
Under the islands.
Like California.
And they've got Star Wars technology. And one night they beamed me right in my living room. My living room faces Haleakala, and there's a like 13, 14, 15 levels underneath Haleakala, all military and extraterrestrials. And one night they let me know they were there, and we had a two-way communications. As a beam was going through my right eye, they were showing me the inside of the facility, the guy that was beaming me, and they were like the super super soldiers, they're real puffed up, abnormal muscles and things like that. Are you familiar with those, that branch? Anyway, and then that guy that was in the facility had a cover story, was going to date one of my roommates, and came to my house and sat right in my living room. And we talked to him, and the whole time he was here, my third eye was buzzing. It's like they had me shut off, and I'm just fascinated. I sat right beside him and listening to him, and he said, I work at the supercomputer, I program it, and he rotates and comes over here frequently. And as soon as he left, it was like a spell broke. And I went, oh my God, you know who that was? And I remembered he was the one that beamed me. And it was like, and nobody ever saw me again after that. So I've had all kinds of things like that. But yes, the Hawaiian Islands are full of military bases, and we have stuff underneath, and a major contact, and the ley lines, and the underground facilities. They're all connected, I guess, eventually with what we call the super railroad or whatever that is. There's a system down there where you can travel all around the globe underneath the earth. So Chris, I'd love to talk to you someday. I've worked extensively with super soldiers,
Likewise,
including doing some deprogramming and help people, recover memories. So I'd love to chat with you sometime.
Yeah, who knows what we figure out.
Yeah, we can.
Me too. I can't wait to pick your brain, Chris. I've been eating lion's mane to trigger memories.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to meet you all in a couple of few weeks.
Yeah, it's amazing. We all coming together at this point of history, timelines, on this occasion, and coming to Las Vegas, all of you. It'd be a great event. We inviting all the public to Alien Event Las Vegas, October 17, 18, 19, 20th. 4 days. We go on network, party, exchange ideas, listening to hundreds of lectures, watching over 69 vendors bringing technology, plasma technology, Tesla technology, you name it. We're going to have all kind of vendors in there. The list of vendors, go to biomedexpo.com, BIOMEDEXPO.com, or alienevent.com. On the top browser, you will see every detail about the event. Book your hotel, really low rate hotel until end of September. We got 9 more days before the rates go up. So you
my
guys
company will
hurry
be
up.
there too.
I'm sorry?
My company will be there too, and we're doing some free
Yeah, I saw that.
aura readings and things
you
for
booked
people.
a lot of rooms. I'm glad you bring in a team. So we want to see your med bed in reality one day, if you want to show it to public. But whenever you're ready, bring it in.
Well, I'll talk about it in the BioMed conference.
Oh, okay. Chris O'Connor is also speaker at 2 events. We got multiple conferences at the same time. BIOMED EXPO, BIOMEDEXPO.com. You can see his biography, and also Alien Event. He is a cosmic speaker and disclosure, and also biohacker. And he has biohacked with all those devices he's going to show at the event.
And David, I think Paul Harris also has
Paul Harris is a plasma
Harris,
technology.
And there's a lot of other people. Again, just to mention Stephen Kelley, Kerry Cassidy, Mike Bara, Dr. Young, Brad Olsen,
we got so many
Agnew, Ocean Sky.
It's a dangerous event. We put in all the lions in one show. You guys are masters of disclosures, and public. If public knew what we really talk about, they would run to Vegas to be with us, with no fear and no money issues and anything. Even borrow money, like some of us, to put this stuff together and come to Vegas. Be with us.
So David, now that we're live, I want to challenge you. I want you to do a contact protocol and get some ships to show up at this darn convention, man. Do you have some kind of lingo? You got any of you guys who are in contact? Can you summon some ships and let's film it? What's better promo than summoning ships
at
in
some
Vegas?
point in the history we will do that. The real contact.
They
will
come every show. We just never film it. We have to film it.
But
sometimes
constantly,
we get 200 ships.
I just got the message you are not ready. Constantly, if the fear mongering of, how can I say that? If you can face the alien face to face, I've met in dual reality. They took me to the ship and whatever, I met one. If you can face to face reality, face one, then at that moment you're ready. If I don't know if the public can be ready. Everybody will run. Did you see in Miami, in the middle of mall, 4 or 5 dark, tall ones with the shiny eyes? They landed. Did you see how public freaked out?
And let's just quantify that, David, for people who don't know. It was the Miami Mall incident where black helicopters showed up, shut down the power, shut down the airport, and sent every police officer in the entire city
for
there.
Miles,
to confiscate people's cell phones and to shut that story down.
Even I was scared about looking at it. We never seen an alien like that. Very tall, very long hands, and very shiny eyes. That I was surprised. I never seen this kind before. I wouldn't know how we define the type of that alien. How did they open the wormhole and suddenly landed in the mall? Why did they choose the mall? How come in the desert in Las Vegas, the tall 9'1" jumped to somebody's backyard, and the family was so scared, and they took the family away? And who knows what happens? What you cannot have a direct alien contact in USA by law, so we can't even talk about this stuff too much.
Did you hear that they mixed the coordinates? Maybe because if you switch the coordinates around and flipped them, it was like a pyramid somewhere. Like they meant to go somewhere else, supposedly. But who knows?
Somebody got fired.
Wait a minute, Eric. What you just said? It was out of this world. What Eric said. Eric, repeat that again.
If you look at the coordinates for the mall, and then you switch it from like north and south or east west, you flip it, it goes to like a megalithic structure where they meant to go. Supposedly, maybe they came to the wrong place. They didn't mean to. And then those kids were playing with that Xbox, opening up portals. We can open up portals and
so again, quantify that, Eric. It's by using sound. It's not using an Xbox to open portals. People, you're okay, it's safe. It's using speakers and sound in a proper variation that creates a gateway or some kind of effect through sound.
Wait a minute. This is deep subject. We should talk about
true.
that.
Everything is frequency and vibration, and we can do that just like Doctor Strange. We are the machine. We are the vibration and energy, but we have to learn these frequencies, and we're waking up to these higher frequency. We're getting a larger frequency range and learning about our quantumness and our multi-levelness on many different dimensional, because I don't believe these extraterrestrials are out in space. I believe they're right here in the ocean and in other dimensions right here. So, I think that we're learning
about that at the event. Yeah,
we're becoming more quantum beings. But I'm really glad that Ryan's coming from Canada. You're coming from Canada to come be with us again?
A lot of people coming from Canada.
I have a husky sleigh that I ride down from the North Pole to join you all in Vegas for gambling and hookers and cocaine. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Welcome to the land of mafia. Welcome to the land of mafia. Anyways, before we leave, is there any important stuff you want to say before we leave?
Well, I want to add something very interesting, and that is that the event is starting on October 17th. And just to confirm what I was talking about, it's exactly a full moon in that day.
Is it full moon?
How everything is related to each other. I just wanted to add it up.
Yeah, moon is just a temporal base they brought next to the planet to to watch us and control us. Is bunch of lab inside it is empty, and they're studying us. They watch. They consciously connect to us from there, very close distance. Could be Anunnaki too. We don't know which race is. Which race is in the moon, Connor?
I don't know who's there now,
Yeah.
but definitely the Anunnaki were there, and 2-3 gray races were there. I think a lot of them have been cleared out. I don't know
Can
for
I
sure.
ask you a question? Lately, with a lot of pictures or videos online, especially TikTok, we see multiple little planets around, and we see two suns, and we also see. I've seen Nibiru years ago in Los Angeles. It's very. I took a picture actually. But anyway, my question is, what are these little planets? Are we moved away from in a timelines to a different new location? The planet moved, or what? Or they moved to our? What is this? Anybody want to talk about, or you?
I think you're seeing beyond the ice wall, the other suns. So
that's a new one.
Well, there's first of all, there's the possibility that their chemtrail spraying has created a screen around the planet, and what we're seeing is a projection. So step one. Step
Why
two,
would they
Marshall
show
Masters,
projection of two suns?
to control our perception. After 2012, there was theoretically a thinning of the veil, and things were more visible, and space is more like an ocean than it is an Arctic deep freeze. And there was creatures that were appearing, like you've seen in the NASA tether incident, where amoeba-like creatures were seen. Well, these creatures were being seen in the sky, and then the chemtrails really ramped up, and then we see nothing now. Now I barely see anything in the sky. It was after a certain point that these types of observations.
Wait a minute. This is just a dome above us anyway. It's a glass dome, and
I like
water
reality
around
bubble. I like reality bubble.
Yeah.
I think the universe.
And if you watch the Elon
complex.
Musk rocket, when it hits the dome and the water splashes, everything NASA told us is a big fucking lie. And they have a secret UFO groups that the British guy put the.
Totally. They laugh at us. They laugh at us and call us sheeple.
And we're laughing at them. We found out everything.
That's true.
Exactly.
And I just want to say, folks, to the people listening, reality is far more awesome and fantastic than you could possibly believe. Participate in it. Don't just watch it from the couch. Exactly. Get out there and live and learn real things and participate and experience them. And you will be grateful in your old age that you didn't just watch reality happen and then on your deathbed find out that everything you thought you knew was a lie.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting fact.
That kind of goes for all of us because we're all wrong on something.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
I said that goes for all of us.
Yeah. And you don't take shit next to your next life. You don't take shit. Your car, your wife, your jewelry, your bank account. Yeah. Only thing you take is your consciousness and all the memories of this lifetime and the experiences. And that's why some people are very intelligent, because they brought that from past lives. And the future lives, we will be much greater shining a light that these public are. And they want to hoard money or do all these stock market, Bitcoin shit and waste their time on politics and shit. Let them do it. We are Disclosure Group. We are Alien Event. We go forward. We are the Cosmic Command. In future timelines, we are the masters of humanity in front with the cosmos. That's where we are. Amen to that.
Well said. Well said, Dave.
The military leader is laughing. Are you still in government?
Me? No.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I have
Ryan,
money.
I said the future timelines, we will be in a different mode.
Yeah.
There would be a future lives that you will become a very big commander in a space and timelines. You can lead many groups and many, things that you need to develop right now to go to that time, energetic timeline. Otherwise, you'll be a zombie like billions of people in the planet, and you'll be lost like And Billy Gates is saying humanity has two options: either a new virus or something else. He said wars. Yeah. So they want to bring wars or new virus to get rid of people. So they think elimination of population is the solution to our problems. It's not. You can add 50 million people in Utah. 50 million people in Utah.
Yeah, David,
you can bring
it's a
the
solution.
Whole Israel. You can bring the whole.
David, it's a solution to the billionaires' problem, which is all of us finding out about all of their crimes and holding them to account. So it is a kind of solution to kill everybody. It's just not in humanity's best interest. It's in the billionaires, and that's the problem. And what you said about reincarnating is very important. The mess that we don't clean today, we're going to incarnate again tomorrow to clean. So these are important concepts that people need to grasp and understand, that when you have reincarnation karma, there's no escaping anything you do, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the better you live now, the better your future will be in the life iterations and whatever it is that the universe holds for all of us. So might as well do a good job now.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why it's important.
Excellent point. I wanted to bring up the karmic credit card too that we carry over.
Exactly.
So
I like that. Karmic credit card. I like that.
Yeah. Every action, every thought we have, it will take us to the next dimension. And the Mandela effect is the same thing, like Eric said. Things move around, and suddenly we are seeing new stuff that we never saw in the planet or in America or in Middle East or wherever. Suddenly things show up in middle of Nevada desert. We see cubes show up, or stuff like that. People don't put it there.
I am so excited that everybody is coming together, because this is the most important time where the greatest amount of information is going to be released to bring us all together.
And we will disclose about beyond
so long. We've been doing this for so long, since the 80s, and now we've been doing the conferences the way we like to do it and having fun, and it's such an exciting time to be alive and here, because we made a promise millions of years ago to be here during this time when all this is going down, because and we're going to be working on making humanity a better place.
Eric,
we're going to
listen to this. Listen to this. My new findings: beyond the ice on the Antarctic, there's 78 worlds like ours. 78 worlds.
178. Saeed, 178.
Isn't that like parallel dimensions? Parallel.
I want you to go to Italian PNC channel on YouTube, and he shows all the maps beyond the ice wall, and it's really amazing.
And each one has got an ice circle. Each one has got an ice circle, and we are not allowed to meet them. But some humans have jumped the ice, and this is I don't want to talk about it here. We are on public forum. But anyway,
the problem, David, just quickly, the problem is that people have conceptual ideals that they believe that the universe conforms to. But in reality, it's much more complex. And as Brad Marcus mentioned, the interdimensional component, the holographic nature of the universe, and the electromagnetic features of the universe. And all these things come together in different ways that give us unknown behaviors to the average person, which can be seen as bonkers. But when you examine them, it is a fact that when planes, look out of your plane window, it's not the act of the plane window, it's flat. Well, what could that mean? That could mean that we're perceiving something in a dimensional way where we don't see the curvature. It could mean that the planet is much bigger than we understand. Or it could mean that you're at a height where you're not seeing the curvature because it's too small for the altitude you're at. But these are all questions that free-thinking humans need to ask.
They're hiding the biggest secret is Antarctica and the ice wall and beyond the ice wall. That's the biggest secret they're holding.
For sure.
And that's why
Antarctica's wild.
Yeah, we're not saying too much right now. Hold it there. Yeah. See you at the event. We will discuss this very important matter. Anybody else before we leave? Anything else?
Thank you on a wonderful show and inviting us and doing this. Thank you for putting up your money and doing this conference and Vegas. They remodeled the hotel.
Public money.
Much nicer.
Everybody help me out. If it wasn't without Paul Harris's terrified, what you call it, his bold sponsor, we would have not been able to pay all these bills. And we should honor him at the show. You guys, on Friday, he's a main lecture. Make sure you show up at his lecture, 11 o'clock. Make sure you give him a standing ovation. This man, with his technologies, changed the world. That plasma tubes, what he's created, is out of this dimension. And it's alchemical, is he will explain it to you. I'm not too scientific about this stuff.
Well, that's what we really eat. We eat plasma. That's what we get from our food. And in Tartaria, they had no bathrooms because they didn't eat food. They ate plasma. And so that's why they have no.
Are you serious?
Sounds wild, but it's a fact. These castles did not have restrooms, and we're told that thousands of people just went and shit in the fountains. That's not the case. There was something else going on here.
That was later when they didn't understand how everything worked and they started eating. That was later. They threw the shit over.
Are you serious? Tartarians were not eating?
They didn't eat. They ate plasma. They got fed through plasma.
Well, you should talk about that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. It's like life force energy, vril. That's what it is.
Right.
Which is what the buildings and all the Tartarian technology outputted. That's why people didn't have to eat, because the energy was ambient around them. So there is really something to that should be researched by people.
You ask the average Joe, you know about Tartaria? He said, what? Say what?
It's very sad.
And they didn't burn wood in their fireplaces. And those andirons weren't to hold the wood. They projected the heat. And so in the summer, it brought cold air. In the winter, it brought warm air through the chimney. And that's why Santa Claus comes through the chimney, just like Mary Poppins comes through the chimney. And they had Tesla technology,
the electricity, all the planet.
They flew with umbrellas. That umbrella, that point, it got the energy from the ether into that point on the umbrella. And they flew around with umbrellas. And, that's why Mary Poppins flies with an umbrella.
I didn't know that one, Eric. Okay, you're going too far.
I'm way out there,
But the Mary Poppins of the show. Eric is the Mary Poppins. All right, guys. With that said, they brought the Edison electricity to charge us. Between us, we're paying about a few $1,000s a month for energy to all the energy companies around the country. Imagine how much money is collected for energy from the public. So
David, can I just add that there's technology like Patrick Riley's over Unity engine that is a free energy device, and he's released the patents on the blockchain. So there is technology out there, folks, and this is not a joke. Free energy is real, and it could be ours if enough people know about it and demand it of the establishment, or find a way around.
Invite him to the show. Like we would love to have him. I don't have his contact.
I will speak
anybody
to him. Yeah,
want to come to our show, meet us, discuss things. Anybody needs a free ticket, contact me as much as I can. If somebody has a financial issue, contact me at info@alienevent, info@biomedexpo.com. All these, go get the tickets. Don't miss this show in Vegas, October 17th to 20th. And be with us. If you cannot come, if you're other side of the world, you can stream it live on the website. So we love you all, the speakers. We meet you in 3-4 weeks. And God bless America. God bless humanity. God bless freedom. God bless truth. And let's keep our flag of everything we stand by in disclosure, which is the most important part of the humanity. And they will find out one day and who we are and what we bring into the public. And let's go forward, bring the light. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the end of this event on the Zoom, and come to Vegas, meet us in person. Thank you so much, and we see you guys soon. Thank you.